Hey everyone, it's Cole from A+ Power Sports. I have a 2025 Boost with the dynamic suspension on it. This is a brand new suspension package for 2025 being released from Polaris. But I want to go with the ins and outs and kind of show you guys how the wiring is ran and what the IMU looks like and how everything is actually wrapped in plastic sheathing so it's protected from the ice and snow. Once we got all our side panels off and the center hood off the sled, we're able to actually see the IMU. So this is the computer unit that controls all your suspension, and it's got an arrow on the top pointing to the sky so it knows your pitch and your roll and everything else about the suspension in the sled. But this is what it looks like. It has a nice aluminum casing around it so it's protected from everything, and that's underneath your front hood. Dynamix is an active suspension, so there's no external adjustments like we're used to on our Walker Evans and the Fox QS3s. It's all controlled through the IMU, but our wiring comes up from the backside and plugs into the back of our shock, and then the wire harness goes down through the sled's plastic and up into our main wiring harness leading to the IMU. Down on the right footwell, our wiring leads from the backside of the main harness and goes into this plastic protective housing. And so our wiring harness can't get kicked off by our boots, and it's not going to get ice and snow built up on it, and everything is protected from this plastic. So let's take a look underneath the sled and see what it looks like. Underneath the sled, once we're on the inside of the tunnel, this is how our wiring gets down and into the tunnel itself. So it's feeding through here in this plastic housing, going up, and there's a large plastic housing and channel that the wiring harness runs through. Running down our front torque arm, you can see the wiring harness is enclosed in this plastic channel. So this runs down the front torque arm and it's clipped on so no snow and ice can build up on it and tear off our wiring. And then it runs down and you can see a little piece of it here, and it goes back to our rear track shock, and the same thing in the front. So here's our front track shock wiring coming up from the plastic housing. So we're looking at the rear track shock right now, and this is our rear support arm for it, and it comes down and you can see how it's fairly small. We'll look at the other side. That's one big difference Dynamix has over the other sleds. At the right side of our skid, we can see the shock rod again, and it goes down, and it's much bigger and beefier on this side. And the reason for that is it's not for structure or strength, it's just for protection of the dynamic suspension. So it just acts as a metal barrier and plate so ice and buildup can't hit your shock as easily. The last piece of hardware for our dynamic suspension is this rocker button. So 3 different modes. All the way down to the bottom is comfort, in the middle is rally, and then we have extreme all the way up at the top. And each mode has different settings already pre-built into it. So it has a baseline for the suspension package. So you have to pick that for the different riding style and the trail that you're on. But the cool thing with it is a rocker switch, but if you click it all the way up, it'll just lock in at extreme mode. If you bring it down one, that brings you into rally. And then if you jam the button all the way down to comfort, it stays at comfort and it doesn't keep scrolling through the screen. That's a quick look at how the new suspension and components work, and everything intertwines in itself with the wiring for the Dynamix. Gives you guys a quick look without trying to see one in person. If you do want to see one in person, I have these here at my dealership until Saturday, March 23rd, and then these are going back up to Minnesota and Polaris gets to keep them. But if you want to come check out the new 25 sleds, I have them here in the dealership. If you're in the market for a sled and you want to see what we have in stock right now, check out aplusride.com. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions on this, leave me a comment in the section below. Thanks for watching.